Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pokemon Black. Time to get to the Elite Four after, some more trudging through Victory Road, but not too much, because we have one last legendary to catch, and then we'll be on our way. So, yay for that.
I think we might have briefly mentioned this before. I really appreciate the doctors in this game. Because, again, I think it's pretty common for people to just escape rope or dig out, and then go to the Pokemon Center, and then walk all the way back through. That's not challenging content, that's just fucking annoying. So just being able to have a rest stop in the middle of your dungeon is nice. Other RPGs do that too, like the early Final Fantasy games will often, at a save point in the middle of the dungeon, have a tent spot. So you
mid-series Final Fantasy games would do that. Early Final Fantasy games, they throw you to the wolves, man.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about the 8-bit ones. I was thinking of the...
You were thinking of Final Fantasy IV on up, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That is a good point. I mean, granted, the early Final Fantasy games were still under the, resource management and conservation was intended to be a big deal in those early games. Especially in 1, where you only have so many spells you can cast of a specific type. It's not even just MP where you can bring in ethers or whatever.
If you're playing Final Fantasy 1, you're doing it for the grind and for the long haul of a dungeon. You're not doing it for the story, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. The other idea as well is that, their second trip through the dungeon, you're not exploring the side routes to get the chests, you're just going through the main path, so it's shorter. But I mean, even still, a lot of 8-bit dungeons, it's a pain in the ass to have to walk back in, and it's not necessarily hard.
My favorite part of Final Fantasy 1's first dungeon is that the boss of the dungeon is literally right in front of the front door through 2 more doors. You're not...
I know why you're here. Let's get this over with.
Yeah, but inevitably you're going to walk in a big circle around the Chaos Shrine anyway, because you want the treasure chests and you need to fight random battles to grind for the boss anyway. But,
Honestly, Final Fantasy 1's dungeon design kind of blows. They're not very good.
So, all right. I'll say the dungeon design itself is not the issue. It's the encounters. Especially if you're playing the original NES release. Because more often than not, especially I think in the Ice Cavern or Mount Gulg or the fucking vampire hideout, you'll run into encounters of 8 to 9 different enemies that can all either put you to sleep, paralyze you ad nauseum. And it's a screensaver. You can't run away, you can't perform any actions, and they always get your turn. They get their turns, and because you can't do shit,
you kind of just have to send your warrior swinging at the most dangerous enemy in the group.
And hope they don't miss.
And hope they don't miss, and hope they get their attack before they get paralyzed.
Yes.
And hope they one-shot the thing, because if they don't,
The only annoying thing that was a part of the design of the dungeon was the trap tiles, where throughout the game you will just run into tiles that are booby-trapped, and it forced encounters.
Yeah. I find that they're more aimless and less cleanly designed than some of the other contemporaries. I think Final Fantasy 3 has generally better designed dungeons where it's more clear which way you were supposed to go.
The actual design of the dungeons was never really all that much of a problem because they are fairly linear. The problem is that the high encounter rate makes it really easy to lose your bearings too.
Yeah. No, you want to talk about an early Final Fantasy had dog shit dungeon design? That was 2.
I'll take your word for it. I never played Final Fantasy 2 because it seems like a bad game.
What is it with the second game in RPG series always having the most dog shit dungeons? Phantasy Star
What are the 2 key things though? Okay.
Phantasy Star 2 has the most bullshit dungeons I've ever seen in an RPG. They are guide dungeons. There's this one dungeon where to get through the dungeon you have to jump through these holes to get to the next area. And there's a series of 3 or 4 holes, and if you don't pick the right one, you basically have to start over. And
Fun fact, the Dragon Quest II final dungeon is so infamously terrible because the playtesting team literally ran out of time to finish playtesting the dungeon.
Oh my
So
god.
they didn't digital. Yeah, the game had to be finished in like 6 to 9 months. So they were just like, we ran out of time to balance this, so we just got to ship it out now. Go.
I mentioned this before, but then there's Daggerfall with its infamous gigantic noodle dungeons. And what makes those dungeons a pain in the ass is that your quest objectives are randomly determined when you go there. Like they could be it's not like they could be anywhere in the dungeon. There are specific set locations that a quest object could spawn. But Daggerfall is also infamously buggy, so they could spawn in inaccessible locations too. But basically, if you're playing without the control console's teleport to objective command, you basically have to scour this massive dungeon, and inevitably, the quest objective will be in the last place you checked, even if that last place you checked just happens to be slightly the other way after the entrance. That's happened to me a lot.
God damn it, the treasure loaded in the center of the earth again.
Well, it's like the quest objective can spawn like 3 rooms away from the entrance, but because the dungeon is so goddamn large and sprawls out in every direction from the entrance, you could just end up exploring to the left when the objective was a few rooms to the right, and spend 3 hours off in that direction, scouring that whole area, and there's nothing over there that you need. So,
Thanks for
You
wasting
go
my time.
right to left for the Elite Four. I always go left to right just because I'm boring.
Well, in the northern hemisphere, you go from left to right. Southern hemisphere, you go right to left.
so I like the elaborate gyms in Black and White, but I have to wonder why they built things this way in Universe.
Dramatic entrance. That's
Yeah.
literally the only reason why
Presentation.
they're like this. I have to say, I really love the Elite Four in this game. Like, they're all pretty memorable design-wise. Like, 2 of these characters I know come back. One of them's a returning character from Emerald, I think, which is also kind of weird. And if you did not know, the battle theme for the Elite Four in this game also contains a little mini remix of the Gen 3 Elite Four battle theme. That part towards the end of the loop. And this song's a banger. I love this Elite Four so much.
You know what Unova's Victory Road area makes me think, though? It makes me think about how fucking funny it is. How goddamn vanilla the one in Scarlet and Violet is. It's just an office building at the end of a field.
I guess it makes sense considering that everybody there hates their job and wants to just go home at the end of the day. There's the skinny guy who's just like exasperated by everything, the overly violent
Larry, yeah.
the overly violent
Larry.
4-year-old, and then what's her name? What's the champion's name? Fuck.
It's
Ida.
Okay, thank you. Almost as forgettable as the Gen 6 champion, who literally does not matter even a tiny little itty tiny bit.
Wasn't the champion in X and Y more of a formality? I
Yeah,
remember correctly.
like she just exists. She's in
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 cutscenes before the end of the game. Does nothing. You fight her and then she leaves. That's it.
Well, my job here is done.
I think my favorite part of the Scarlet and Violet champion is the way her Pokemon team is lined up. Her ace, the last Pokemon she uses against you, is the floating flower thing from Area 0 that, when it gets hit, poisons the field so that the enemy party has to deal with poison damage the whole battle. She uses that last when it should be the first thing she uses.
Yeah, usually like this super annoying, stally, statusy kind of thing is something you throw out early. She's just like, well, I'm going to send this out last, and I have no way to win, but I sure as hell can make it so that you can't win either.
It's just like, as a champion battle, that one was terrible. I like the design of the champion. She's cool.
She's not really the final boss of the game, though, because
No.
you do Area Zero after her, if I remember correctly, right?
You might
And
wind
then-
up. You might wind up doing Area Zero way after her, depending on the order that you do stuff in. Yeah.
The gym leader stuff was some of the last stuff I did when I played the game. So like I went pretty much straight from that to Area Zero, and then after that there's the Nimona battle, which is like effectively the last boss of the game. So she's kind of like not intended to be the climax in many ways, but it is still disappointing, like because you expect the champion to put
Yeah.
up some amount of a fight, you know?
But I was just thinking about like in this Elite Four area, we have these massive arenas that all have dramatic entry paths that lead into them. And in Scarlet and Violet, you're just in a room, and the Elite Four are there with you, basically drawing straws over who gets to go first. One of the Elite Four also does double duty as a gym leader,
Yeah, that's Larry.
and apparently an office worker. Poor Larry, man.
Are we sure that Scarlet and Violet doesn't also take place in the United States? Because having to work 3 miserable jobs to make ends meet certainly does seem like something that would happen here. Yeah, this is the character that's in the Battle Frontier in Emerald, if I remember correctly. And
What?
she has like a little butler guy in that version of the game. This also leads into the stupid convoluted Pokemon timeline that I hate as a real thing. Because she's visibly like 5 or 6 years older, which indicates that Gen 3 takes place like 5 or 6 years before this. But apparently Gen 3 takes place at the same time as Gen 1, and Gen 2 takes place at the same time as Gen 4. And I hate it already because the remakes are also in their own different timeline, and it sucks.
This is somehow the MCU's fault.
So this game came out in 2010.
Yeah,
and
the MCU was a thing by then.
was like, yeah, because
2008.
Yeah, 2008, but it wasn't really like gathering steam until like 2011.
I just drew a connection in my brain that didn't connect until just now, but the Elite Four and Scarlet and Violet, one of them is a kid, but that's a miserable job that Larry has to work, right?
Isn't the kid also like incredibly violent and like?
Yes, I mean I would be too if I was being exploited for child labor, but
That's a good point. It's like they're being paid in animal crackers and apple juice. You know, I'd be mad too. Give me my paycheck, god damn it. And then I can buy my own animal crackers and apple juice.
ah man,
Also, this little Blobule here is one of my favorite Pokemon in the game. And it's OP as shit. I'm pretty sure this is the white exclusive, though, because in black you get the Lolita doll. Gotharita, I think is what it's called.
that's
yes.
oh that's from Gen 5.
Yeah, it's from
Yeah.
Gen 5.
Yeah, that was one of my mains in Scarlet and Violet.
It's not bad. I think it's the more defensively oriented one, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. And
Yeah, it
this
kinda
one's
was.
the more offensively oriented one. I just like glass cannon Pokemon. I just think they're neat. Personally
Well,
speaking.
in this 1v1 Pokemon format, being able to kill your opponent faster does indeed provide an advantage.
Like, you can play Pokemon single player the way that you might play like an actual competitive fight, where you can play like annoying ass double team, leech seed, toxic kind of strategies. Toxic the move, not toxic the
The personality.
yeah. Although I get pretty goddamn toxic when Koga uses double team for the 15th time and I can't hit anything and I want to throw my Game Boy through the wall.
Well, that's how you win.
Well, that's how
Just turn the
Koga
game
wins. I don't want to do that shit. I've got things to do, man. I don't have time to set up 15,000 defensive
see, I would
buffs
argue.
and then
I
have
would
them
argue,
hit me
by
through
you
double
turning
team
off the
anyway.
game. By you turning off the game, you win because you were free to do whatever the hell you want afterwards. Koga, meanwhile, is trapped in that gym forever.
Now, see, here's the thing. I was growing up with the mantra that quitters never win. Therefore, I need to continue at any task, no matter how fruitless, until I inevitably succeed, which has not definitely given me any lasting issues that I work with my therapist on. No siree.
I mean, at least you're seeing therapy though.
Actually, not really, because it's too expensive. I haven't been able to go in a while. I love the United States of America.
Yeah, she has very tanky Pokemon, so we're going to be here a little bit.
Oh, and she uses Reflect too. God damn it. It's weird for me to consider that, like, by this point, the Psychic type team is the one with a lot of tanky Pokemon, considering that I always considered Psychics to be one of the more Glass Cannon-y kind of types. Like, the ultimate Glass Cannon type's probably Electric, because I can't think of any defensively oriented Electric types off the top of my head at all. But, again, as a person who mostly only played competitive Pokemon in early generations, like, I'm used to Psychic types just kicking you in the dick repeatedly over and over again.
Oh, no.
She's going to full restore, so...
Oh yeah, might as well do it.
So you might as well.
Oh, she actually didn't.
Never mind, you're an idiot.
The Pokemon AI, there is actually strategy going on behind the Pokemon AI's decisions. Like, it has specific thresholds when it will heal or when it won't heal, and it will be more likely to heal specific Pokemon and whatnot, but I just can never make any rhyme or reason out of it sometimes. Holy shit, you're actually using this one. I think this is the first time you actually brought Meloetta out on screen.
I waited until I was actually level appropriate for it.
Oh, okay. Even though you got
because
it
you get
really
it because you because I had it early in the game from the DNS shenanigans, but it was level 50, and I'm like, I'm not using that to curve stomp the game. Sorry.
You see, I just thought that you had it in the back of your party the entire time, just gathering dust.
That one Yakuza member that's not doing anything. But you know they're going to do something and you know it's going to be good.
Cool, yeah. Aw.
Oh.
Yeah, Meloetta will clean up this mess, so yay for that.
I do like this Pokemon's design. It would have been perfect for my Scarlet and Violet team. I don't think it's in that game, though.
No, it's a mythical, so you don't get it unless you bring it up from a previous generation.
Bleh. Well, I mean, is it actually in the game, though? Because Scarlet and Violet does not have the entire roster programmed in.
I'm not sure. I'd have to check. But it's also... Gen 5 is also a rare instance where this is one of the only games where if you did the events... Like, if you actually did get the events at the beginning of your adventure, you actually, like, can get a mythical Pokemon early enough to use it on your team. Like, you catch Victini and it's, like, level 20 or something. So you can use it for the bulk of your adventure.
Yeah.
Versus almost every other one, you get, like, post-game and it's just going to sit in your PC box collecting dust.
Hey, look at all these DLC personas that Persona 5 Royal comes with. They're all level 50 and have game-breaking moves, but that doesn't ruin the gameplay experience at all, I bet. Also, they're free.
Can you also equip them like that early in the game?
They give you one free purchase of each one from the Velvet Room, so you can just pop them into your wild cards inventory and have them immediately. And the thing about having like a level 50 persona is that your protagonist gets level 50 stats while they have it on. So
you don't have to try for the first like 8 hours of the game, and then by the point
more
you
like
do
for the
need...
first 30 hours of the game, but yeah.
Oh damn. Like, I'm used to, like, because Shin Megami Tensei does stuff like that a decent bit. Like, if you pre-ordered Shin Megami Tensei 4, you got ugly-ass Amazon-branded armor that you could equip early in the game if you pre-ordered it on Amazon. But that's, like, armor that's just slightly good for level 1 and makes the game a little easier. It's not, oh, here's a level 50 demon so you don't have to try for the first third of the game.
It's even better if you get one of the personas that has physical attacks as their main specialty, because, you know, physical attacks only cost a percentage of your current HP, as opposed to 30 MP or something.
So then if you use, you can use items to heal them, and then...
and then just curb stop everything that's not immune to physical with high-power physical attacks. Just make sure you don't hit anything that reflects physical.
Oh man, I don't think some of the DLC in Shin Megami Tensei 5 was pretty broken, but I don't think you can get any of it early enough to really curb stomp the game in half with it.
It's just like, it's just I can see people who get into Persona 5 for the first time nowadays not understanding what the DLC personas actually are to the gameplay experience, and just getting the most broken shit immediately and realizing they can curb stomp the game that way.
It's unfortunate because the early parts of the game, especially of a game like that, where you're supposed to learn the intricacies of the battle system, by the time you get to the point where you've caught up with the level curve, and you're facing challenges that actually are, a challenge, then you're kind of screwed because you don't know how to deal with the rest of the game effectively. if you never had to deal with earlier versions of that stuff. It's kind of like the overleveled starter problem, where it's just like, oh, I'm gonna overlevel Charizard and do really, really good until you get to like the 8th gym leader who happens to be water type or whatever, and then it's just like, oh, I'm hard blocked here, and I have a level 12 Pidgeotto I use for Fly, and a level 18 Meowth I use for Cut, and nothing else. It's like, well, you're screwed then.
Start catching some local Pokemon and leveling them up. You'll have a better time than trying to level up what you've already got.
Generally speaking, Pokemon tries to do that, where there will be something in the general area that's good against what you're supposed to be fighting. The best examples I can think of are like in Gen 1, Lieutenant Surge has Diglett's Cave right next door. Theoretically, the Lavender Tower enemies are supposed to be good against Sabrina. They're not, but that was the idea, I'm pretty sure. Stuff like that. They try to do that, but they're still generally going to be under-leveled by at least like 5, if not 10 levels for the gym leader, so you will still need to grind at that point.
Yeah, but it's easier to grind 5 levels than it is to grind 20.
Yeah, for sure. I've kind of grown to dislike games where they just expect you, okay, well, dislike's maybe not the right word, but it's become a big hurdle for me when I'm playing games and it's just like, oh, you reach this new dungeon, well, it turns out that the level recommended for this dungeon just is 10 levels higher than when you are, and there's nothing else for you to do in between, so you just need to run around in circles for an hour and do that. And I mean, granted, yes, I know that grinding is, kind of like, it's just kind of a take your medicine thing in an RPG, and I play a lot of RPGs, but games have gotten so much better about balancing these kinds of things in recent years. Like, you generally don't need to grind for many modern RPGs, from what I can think of. I'm struggling to think of a critically acclaimed one where you needed to do any grinding for anything but like post-game super bosses. Yeah, I'm struggling. It's all stuff that's like maybe PS2 generation or earlier is all that
It's generally considered poor form to make a game where you're required to grind to get ahead, but the design problem that accompanies that mentality is if you do any grinding at all, the main story becomes a joke, and
well, that's your reward for putting in the work, though, right? Like, okay,
yeah, a worse game. How rewarded I feel.
I mean, that is true. You're right, but it is also something that the player consciously chooses to do. So it's like, okay, there's not much you can do about that in that instance.
The compromise that I think I do kind of like is that, the normal mode generally won't require grinding. But if you do want a more challenging game, RPGs have finally, in the last decade, embraced the truth of multiple difficulty modes. So,
I can understand why they were hesitant, because RPG balancing has got to be a nightmare between
is.
balancing experience points, damage, attack, items that you're getting, economy, all of that. Like trying to balance that again for like a hard mode and then again for an easy mode must be miserable.
Yeah. It's so
not
miserable that most games fail at it. But
yeah, because most hard modes in RPGs I play are just like, why would you do this to me?
But like Dragon Quest XI has like draconian challenges and stuff that make it that like actually one of them I think outright prevents you from out leveling the game by like making it so that you don't gain experience from weaker enemies.
Yes, I play when I play Dragon Quest XI, I turn on the harder monsters because the game is just a little bit too easy normally, and I put on like the level cap. And they do include some masochistic challenges for you if you want. Like for example, the ones where randomly your character will be too embarrassed to make an action. So it's, hey, Serena, thanks. It's not like I needed that heal because I'm fucking dying. Oh yeah, sure, you're embarrassed to do it. Oh man, that's great, Serena. I'm so happy for you. I'm fucking dead.
It's the turn-based RPG version of tripping in Brawl.
Yeah, but it's worse because action economy in Dragon Quest specifically is so important. Where losing an action, you probably will die instantly. Like some of them are more interesting than others. Like some of them you would think would be bad but aren't. Like the one where you can't buy armor from shops. Oh, well, it's not like the game put in a crafting system for you to make all your armor where you just get it all anyway, so it's like, that doesn't matter. But the freaking becoming too embarrassed to do your thing. I cannot imagine who would want to do that.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the critical failures perk in early Fallout, where the game where you can set a particular trait to your character at the beginning of the game that causes everyone in the game, you, your party members, your enemies, to all have a much higher rate of critical failures whenever they do anything. So they'll often just miss a lot, but sometimes they'll have a critical failure where they suffer some drawback, like they hit one of their allies, or they randomly break their leg, or stuff like that. It leads to the entire game being a chaotic mess, basically, for everyone involved.
So if you choose that trait, you're just gambling that the enemies will get worse luck than you, pretty much?
Well, but you're also just doing it for a laugh.
I can't argue with that.
Like, Fallout New Vegas has a similar trait that you can add to your character called Wild Wasteland, which just spawns a bunch of wacky events throughout the game world that you wouldn't otherwise find if you didn't have the trait turned on, because they're bizarre, hilarious nonsense events that kind of clash with the tone of the game. But you'll see a UFO, you'll find a painting of Elvis in the UFO, stuff like that.
See, this is one of the things about Fallout as a game series that I've always been interested in playing. And I always kind of was more interested in it than like Elder Scrolls, which I know is a different genre, but same developer and a somewhat similar game. It always seemed like Fallout had more of a sense of humor, which kind of endeared it to me a little bit more than Elder Scrolls. So yeah. I've always been meaning to try it for that reason.
It absolutely does. It's basically a satire series, but it's like low-key satire underneath some seriousness.
I mean, it's the satire is pretty in your face. It fucking hates consumerism in America.
The first scene in Fallout 1 is of a news program on a channel advertising how great the American military is by showing them shooting a guy in Canada who's resisting the American regime, and like as soon as Donald Trump started talking about annexing Canada, I'm like, I don't want to live in the Fallout universe. Stop this,
man.
Someone.
I liked it back when video games weren't woke and didn't have politics in them.
Speaking of political intrigue, we'll find out what happens if they're not PETA in the next part of Pokemon Black. So see you guys all
I thought
later.
you were gonna say, speaking of woke, we'll catch you guys next time when you wake up with more BrainScratch.